guys today. It's nice to have so many friendly faces and familiar names on the phone call. Today, we've got a very special presentation to share with everyone. As you guys know, Voyager Digital. This is a company that I've had a number of conversations personally with folks about this call. A number of you I have not, but I know that you're familiar with the story and that we do have shareholders on the call. But some folks on the call may be less familiar, so we're going to do a quick rundown of the deck. And then, as always, we're going to open it up for some live Q&A at the end. But during the course of the presentation, if anyone has any questions that they want to send into the chat feature, please do so. You can send those questions directly to me also, and I will try and get those addressed as we go along. I do want to indicate to folks on the phone call today, unfortunately, there was a last-minute board meeting with Steve Ehrlich, CEO of the company, who was unable to participate at this time, but he still may be joining us later on during the conversation. And if he does miss it, we will get him back down the line to kind of keep you guys updated with the story. But fortunately for today, we have Mike Legg, who's the Chief Communications Officer of Voyager. And Mike is going to quickly go through the deck, and then we're going to exchange with some Q&A. So everyone, please have your microphones muted at this time, but feel free to ask those questions in the chat feature. And thanks again, everyone, for joining. With that introduction, I'm going to pass the microphone on over to Mike. Mike, thanks again for jumping on.
Thanks, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you had some time to hear our story. Voyager is the fastest growing digital asset broker. We are a public company traded on the TSX under VOYG and on the OTC as VYGVF. You can read through the forward-looking statements at your convenience, but the difference in our platform is one, we're retail focused. We have an easy-to-use mobile desktop app and a payment infrastructure in place. Our mobile app you can download in 3 minutes, fund it through a Plaid. Link your bank through Plaid and have it funded within 3 minutes and be up and trading if you pass through the AML KYC procedures. We have a loyalty program where you can earn up to a 12% yield on our platform. You can trade over 70 crypto assets and stable coins, and you earn yield on over half of those coins. We believe our platform with our smart order router technology offers the fastest execution and deeper liquidity than many of our peers. And we think that native token on our platform creates a huge sense of community with not only engagement and retention, but also on acquisition of customers. The investment highlights we'll go over: massive market opportunity. I think everyone hears about crypto in the news every day now. About a $2 billion opportunity. We think that's going to grow significantly. We think we have a very attractive business model attacking that, where we have revenues coming from 3 major streams, and we have powerful economics on a long-term economic model. Scalable infrastructure. We've grown our user base substantially this year to over 3 million users, and alongside that, we've scaled our infrastructure to over 10 million capacity at present. We're trusted and transparent. Our management team made a decision early on to be a public company, such that people who invest in crypto can see the audited financials and understand who they're investing their money with. We are fully compliant with any regulatory processes out there, and we connect to multiple exchanges. So a massive market opportunity. If you look at global investable assets, 120 trillion, and gold being 9 trillion. When you look at crypto, just under 2 trillion of assets, you can see that there's a huge opportunity to move this forward. If it just reaches the gold market cap, that's still 5x from where we are today. So huge opportunity moving forward in crypto. Why is this opportunity so large? Crypto and blockchain provide 24/7 instant accessibility. It's borderless. It's diversified against a traditional store of value. There's no central government controlling it from an inflationary perspective. It's extremely fast and immediate versus expensive and slow traditional systems that can take up to 3 days to process your money. And a lack of trust in the banks. When you look at some of these major banks, they're not paying you any yield on your checking account, but if you look at their return on capitals, you'll see they're making mid-teens type returns on your money. They're just not paying it out to you. So in crypto, we think that you're seeing all these things be advantages. Our platform today, we have over 3.2 million verified users. 1.1 million of those accounts are funded. That's up from just 43,000 at the beginning of 2021. So we've had exponential growth there significantly. Our assets under management similarly have grown from 240 million at December 31st, 2020 to over 7 billion we touched in November, the last we gave it out. As I mentioned earlier, 70 plus assets and 35 that bear rewards through our yield program. Our timeline, we started we had four executives, co-founders, I should say, founded the company in 2018, listed the company on the TSX Venture in January of 2019, launched the iOS launch in the second quarter of 2019, and Android launch in the fourth quarter of 2019. We've done 4 acquisitions. The Ethos acquisition gave us our bedrock technology for onboarding assets. We did the Circle acquisition when Circle decided to focus on the USD coin with Coinbase. They found us as a trusted partner to place their users in. We also did the LGO acquisition, which gave us access to the European market. We've been declared fit and proper there. And most recently, we completed the Coinify acquisition in Copenhagen, Denmark, which gives us access to payment infrastructure for the PSPs and other merchants so that they can accept crypto and be paid in fiat. We think our model is extremely attractive. We have multiple touch points for our user base. We have the altcoin seekers with over 70 coins. We are probably the largest provider of altcoins on the platform. If you remember back in January when Dogecoin was suspended for trading on Robinhood, we were the only other platform that traded Dogecoin. Shiba, another coin that's been hot lately, has also been one that we were one of the only platforms you could trade that on. We also get the Bitcoin investor. We offer a reward of 4.75% on that right now, which we think leads the industry on the rewards you can get on your Bitcoin. So we get people who come in just to invest in Bitcoin and earn that yield. Yields, as I mentioned, we offer through our rewards program on 35 plus coins, as much as 12% on Polkadot, 9% on the US dollar coin, stable coin, 4.75%, as I mentioned, on Bitcoin, and up to 35 different coins you earn that. We are commission free. We make our money based upon a spread revenue. So cost conscious investors know that when they are on our platform, we have a bid and an ask, and that's the price you transact at. Often you'll get price improvement and get over 70% of our trades, you'll get price improvement from that. So you'll only see improvement, but you know exactly what you're paying. Our kind of funnel that we use for our customers, over 1.1 million funded and 3.2 million verified users, is first we like to attract them to our platform with our yield offering. As I mentioned, up to 12%, but the US dollar coin, the stable coin with 9%, is a real interesting coin for consumers to earn significant yield on their cash balances. As you know, stable coins are backed. The USD dollar coin is backed by the US dollar. It's got an attestation from Grant Thornton, so you know your money is there and you know that there's no proprietary trading or anything behind that. It's really just 1-for-1 with the US dollar. Always trades at a dollar, never creates a taxable event. Then, when you sign up on our platform, trade your first $100, we'll give you $25 of Bitcoin. And that starts getting you a little bit involved in the larger crypto world beyond just the stable coin. And then through our educational programs on our platform, our node blog, our emails, our relationship with Fundstrat, where we're going to have content provided. We educate our users to learn more about the altcoins, and the progression we see is they come on for the US dollar, 9% interest. They gravitate into the Bitcoin, Ethereum world a little bit, and before you know it, we see altcoins coming into their platform. So it's a nice educational way to get people involved in crypto. As I mentioned, we've seen tremendous growth on our platform from just 5 million of assets 2 years ago to 7 billion today. over 1,400% growth. How do we get this growth? We have 5 different ways that we target new users. One, paid advertising efforts, where we are using the Google, Facebook, and type digital advertising efforts to get users acquainted with our platform. We do content marketing, where we're out writing our blogs and no blogs specifically on our platform. We do promotions and sponsorships. You've seen us sponsor NASCAR with Landon Castle, the National Women's Soccer League, most recently, as well as the Dallas Mavericks. We're partnered with them. We have affiliate influencer relationships. You've seen Victor Oladipo of the Miami Heat, Rob Gronkowski of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and New England Patriot fame, future Hall of Famer, are key influencer relationships we have. Obviously, social media is something that we're big. If you look at our Twitter following, you'll see a very active group. Part of that is community is extremely important to us. And we think through our VGX token and our VLP rewards program, we have probably the strongest sense of community of any platform out there. Very loyal user base. We see them come on our platform 8 to 9 times a day on average. So where are we today and where are we going? Today, you can trade over 70 cryptos on our platform. We are operating only in the United States. We have filed with the OSC in Canada for exemptive relief to get up and running in Canada. We filed all the paperwork there. We're awaiting their decision. The OSC did just clear our prospectus in September. We are a Canadian public company, so we think we're pretty well qualified to be approved by them. They did just approve big digital assets a month or so ago, so they're starting to have some movement. So we're optimistic that we'll get that, in the first half of this year. Secondly, we bought LGO, a fully regulated entity in France, regulated by the AMF. We bought that a little over a year ago. We now, in December, were declared fit and proper by the AMF to take over the licenses on both a management and a company perspective. And we look forward to rolling out in Europe in 2022. First with France, but France gives us access to all of the countries of the EU. The UK is separate, but you'll see countries such as Italy, Spain, Germany, and the Netherlands will be some targets of ours as we go into Europe in 2022. Beyond that, we did a beta on our desktop. We'll be rolling that out in 2022. We have announced our debit card launch, which is our current quarter, that we expect to have that rolled out. We continue to add new assets. We have a joint venture with Market Rebellion, 50/50, where Market Rebellion, owned by John and Pete Najarian and Dirk Muller, CNBC fame, traditionally an options trading platform, is building in the capability to trade equities using crypto as the base platform, which will allow you to hold equities in your Voyager account and trade there using cryptocurrency as a base platform. I already went through the M&A. We have completed 4 acquisitions to date, and we'll continue to look to be acquisitive on an inorganic basis. We just hired Marshall Jensen to head our biz dev as we look to grow our platform with M&A. We obviously are looking at credit products such as a credit card, margin, home loans, collateralized type products onto our platform also. Scalable infrastructure. As I mentioned, we've grown from 43,000 funded accounts to approximately 1.1 million accounts today. The Voyager you see, the API, the mobile app, the web app, that's all great, simple to use. One of our co-founders, Oscar Salazar, the original CTO at Uber, clearly put the impression that it needs to be simple for the user to use. That's why you can download it and be funded within 3 minutes if you pass the automated AML KYC. But beyond that, you have market data pricing, you have an order management system, you have a smart order router in custody, secure wallets, user accounts, marketing, regulatory compliance. It's a much more complex thing behind the scenes than you may see in the just on the front end app. We think we bring deeper liquidity. We have a smart order router. We are a broker versus the exchanges. Coinbase being an exchange, we use them as one of our liquidity providers. So we have up to 20 different market makers and exchanges that our smart order router searches to find the best execution for our customer. We think that creates the deepest liquidity pool, even deeper than Coinbase, because that's part of our liquidity pool. From a custody and security perspective, we use multiple custody solutions such that if there are any issues with any of them, it's only a small portion and easier to detect from our side. Our asset and selection is clearly what we believe one of the broadest selections out there. Trusted and transparent. We're a broker model, as I mentioned, versus the exchanges. We're consumer first. We are focused 100% on retail. We're working on SOC 1 and SOC 2 certifications. As I mentioned earlier, we're a public company with full transparency, and we have an experienced team, which I'll get to in a minute. And we also work with trusted, well-known partners, best in breed in this industry. As you can see, Coinbase, Google, AWS, Socure, Fireblocks, Plaid, Blockdaemon, BMO, just some of the relationships we have. We believe today, when you look at the U.S. marketplace, the 4 key players being Coinbase, FTX, Crypto.com, and us. And those 4 we think are the clear players in the U.S. space. Our founders, Steve Ehrlich, our co-founder and CEO, was the number 2 person at E-Trade at the turn of the century, bringing equities to the masses online. So he basically developed the first online trading platform for equities while at E-Trade. Phil Eaton and Gaspar de Deruzzi, 2 Silicon Valley fintech executives who have been serial entrepreneurs in this space, been investors in Uber, Pager, Socure, and a host of others, most recently Particle, which is an NFT provider. Oscar Salazar, probably the most noted of our co-founders, was a founding architect of CTO at Uber. He built their first app, and he obviously was instrumental in building our first app. He remains an advisor to the company. Our management team has been built out significantly over the past year. A couple key people I'll highlight here. Pam Kramer, former E-Trade CMO from 95 to 2004, has come on board to really spearhead our marketing efforts. We look at today's platform as user growth being our key criteria for success down the road. Right now, it's a land grab for users. Pam's done a great job establishing all our different marketing initiatives in place today, including the NASCAR, the Rob Gronkowski National Women's Soccer League, and a host of others to come down the road. So we're real happy to have her on board. Just brought on Rakesh Gidwana. He was the CTO at 2 Sigma. He's really going to help us as we build out our technology for international expansion. Dan Costantino, our CISO, obviously very important to have security in this space, comes to us from Penn Medicine, which is, as you know, one of the most secure type environments for personal data. So catalyst for growth, focused in continued execution, product expansion as we went through, international expansion, continued acceptance by the mainstream, regulation. Obviously, there's a lot of talk of regulation in the space. We think that's going to create consumer confidence and actually be a win for the industry. Increased public comps. We saw Robinhood, we saw Coinbase come public, makes it a more investable space for the consumer. And then consolidation, obviously, as the industry matures. A couple things we didn't talk about here are financials. We just came out with $165 million as our preliminary estimate for our December 21 quarter. That's up from 81 million in the September quarter, puts us at about $400 million on the last 12 months basis. Importantly, when you look at us in all of 2020, we did 6.6 million. So 6.6 to 400 million on a calendar basis, pretty impressive growth. We're pretty excited about that. A couple other partnerships that we've recently gotten into that aren't in this deck. Alameda is a quantitative shop founded by Sam Blankman-Fried. Sam Blankman-Fried also founded FTX. They put in a $75 million investment in us a couple months ago. We think we're well positioned with our balance sheet, having over 200 million in net working capital. We've grown our employee base from roughly 35 at year end to over 250 today. We're poised for significant growth ahead. So with that, I'll turn it over to Q&A, and we'll go from there.
Mike, thanks so much. so much information to absorb. I mean, you guys are obviously moving extremely quickly, and it's just really exciting. You know, I've used the platform for a long time. You know, just full disclosure, I own the stock as a shareholder. I buy the stock in the open market, you know, along with anyone else on this phone call. And, you know, it's exciting to be a shareholder of the company. We've had a number of questions come in, so we'll try and get to all of them. I know that, you know, our time is running a little bit short because I want to be sensitive of everyone's schedules. But, you know, since we finished on financials, maybe we'll start a little bit there and kind of work our way back on some of the questions that have come in. As it relates to the financial structure of the company, can you tell us at all a little bit about inside ownership, cash on the balance sheet, you know, any further plans or intentions as it relates to acquisitions? We know that you're public and can't disclose non-publicly disclosed information yet, but anything that you could allude to on that front as it relates to use of capital?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we have over 200 million of net working capital on our balance sheet, so we're well positioned, no debt to speak of. You know, our operating profit is positive. We expect to operate in the high single digit type operating profit range, so we're not burning cash. When you look at our M&A strategy, I mentioned we hired Marshall Jensen to head up our biz dev. He joined us last month, so we're excited to have him on board. Clearly shows that we are active in M&A, though obviously we're not commenting on any transactions. We are looking for acquisitions in multiple spaces. You know, we believe education is a big piece here, so you can see us adding content, continue to build out our custody relations and custody solutions. You could see us add stuff more on the staking side, where we're looking to be a node originator to some extent, and you know, look to do stuff in that area.
Yeah. Yeah,
From
really
an inside
exciting.
ownership perspective, I mean, our CEO, Steve Ehrlich, has roughly 7 million shares combined, closely held. From our early stage investors, we're somewhere around 20%.
Wow, that's really impressive. You know, one of the things, you know, that I want to address, because we've had a few questions that have come in that are all kind of on this topic. You guys have so many unique features, having your own internal coin, your Voyager token. The fact that you are, you know, a broker and not just an exchange and a custodian of currencies. You know, all the different components of your platform as it relates to the interest that you play in, all these different factors that separate you from a Coinbase or some of the others out there. What do you think is Voyager's biggest differentiating factor as it compares to some of your competitors? What mostly, in your opinion, sets you aside?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look at community. I mean, we have a very active user base on our platform, very loyal, based upon that VLP program and having our own native token. You know, we are focused purely on the consumer, and that's why we are commission free. We make our money on the spread revenue, fully transparent. We're here to make consumers educated about crypto so that they can build wealth for themselves. We'll continue to add traditional financial products along the way and become the financial app of the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mean, I know that there are a lot of things that I've already seen that you do that have separated you. Of course, one of the reasons why personally I started using the app was because of the availability, you know, that you guys offered. How were you able to achieve some of these really important coins as part of your inventory in advance of some of your other competitors?
Yeah, I mean, being a broker gives us an advantage as we find liquidity out there in the marketplace, we can list it on our platform. The tech lift isn't quite as hard as it is for the exchanges to do. That's one thing. Second, we have an internal risk management committee that is continually evaluating tokens out there. We think they're second to none and continually find the coins ahead of the other exchanges. You know, we were the first to be a major player in the altcoin space. We see others copying us, but we see what we do as being kind of the bellwether of the industry, and people follow a lot what we do.
A lot, yeah. And how so? I mean, can you at all get into the mechanics of how you guys are able to offer, for instance, 12% APR, on Polkadot, such high interest rates on certain coins? What is it that allows you to do that, to offer that capability? Can you get into the details at all of how,
Sure.
this works?
So as you know, in crypto, you can stake your coins, but it's very difficult for the average consumer to do it. You need your MetaMask wallet and all different hurdles to jump through. On Voyager, we make it simple for the users to earn the staking revenues. We stake for them in the back end. All you have to do is hold that coin on our platform, and you'll earn that staking reward. We, on the other hand, take that coin and stake it for you, and therefore we earn that staking revenue, and that funds our ability to pay out those rewards on our platform. The second piece of that is lending. Some of the major coins, USDC, ETH, and Bitcoin will lend out to trusted third parties. The counterparty risk there, we have never had an issue with. And we only deal with billion-dollar players that we have a long history with and have been well vetted. So, we look to move more towards the staking model. We've committed to roughly 40 to 50 million per quarter on staking and lending revenues. And that's part of what will help fuel our rewards program.
Absolutely. Well, on top of everything that we just addressed, I think that there are a number of other factors that separate you personally from your competitors and make you a very, very attractive investment proposition at this time for Voyager, specifically because of some of these factors that we just indicated, but mostly or additionally because of the amazing ramp up of your revenue growth and the fact that you guys are trading at a sub $2 billion market cap on the OTC markets, which for some of the experienced traders, which most are on this call, know some of the various differences and hurdles that OTC companies face versus NASDAQ companies. So,
let me just clarify. We're also listed on the TSX, so that's a major exchange. The OTC is a U.S. listing, but yes.
Yes, of course. But as many of people are curious, about the NASDAQ uplisting, what can you tell us in regards to that? Many of us know that the traditional path for OTC companies getting to the NASDAQ is through a reverse stock split. It likely doesn't seem like that's something that you'll have to face at this time. What is the timeline that we can look at something like that? And what would the process entail for you?
Yeah, so we just had our annual general meeting. At the annual general meeting, we had a proxy vote. One of the votes was for the articles and corporations, a change to them. The change was simply to put in a variable class stock, which basically limits U.S. shareholders' voting rights, and the voting rights only for the election of directors to 49.9%. We're roughly 50-50 anyhow right now, but it's more of a future thing. And what that does is it allows us to maintain our foreign person status when it relates to an uplist to NASDAQ. What that does, if you look at the accounting standards, IFRS in Canada and GAAP in the US, the IFRS allows you to market your assets and your liabilities. Because we take the keys and the possession of our customers' assets, we put them on our balance sheet as an asset and also the corresponding liability. If we were to go to GAAP, it would be treated as an intangible and it would be placed on our balance sheet at the lower of cost of market. With that, we'd have a mismatch between the liability that we would owe the assets on our platform, and that would significantly impact our book value. So we want to keep the IFRS accounting standards. The second thing the FPI status does in relationship to a NASDAQ listing is allows you to file as a 40F as opposed to having to do an S1 with the SEC. We can use the prospectus we have cleared with the OSC already in Canada, and it really streamlines the process and makes it a lot faster. Traditionally, the SEC hasn't reviewed 40F filings. They have started to review a few, and given we're crypto, we could get a review. But once we file that application, if there was not a review, it could be 6 to 8 weeks. If there is a review, it could be much longer.
Yeah. Well, I know this process well, and I know a number of the folks do. And of course, we know that the SEC and FINRA is pretty backed up right now when it comes to some of these things. But certainly, I know that when that application is filed, due to some of your factors, I would expect that it would move pretty quickly. Okay, we had so many questions come in, and I know that we don't have the time for all of them. This one, I believe, is pretty important. I know that as it relates to the release of your debit card, partnerships that you have in place, in what type of way will this increase your revenue output? And are there any additional expansion plans as it relate to some of those partnerships?
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about the debit card launch this quarter. For us, it's really a customer acquisition tool as much as a customer retention tool. It's not so much going to be a high margin profit business for us up front. Think about 1% take or something on it. But when you look at it, what it's going to do, it's going to effectuate an everyday checking account for the consumer, whereby you can get the 9% reward on your US dollar coin balance. You'll have a debit card linked to it that you can use for your everyday purchases, such as dining out, shopping, groceries, gas, whatever you want to use it for, like you would a traditional debit card. All the transaction from the US dollar coin to the fiat currency is done in the back end. So the merchant still receives fiat. They don't know it to be anything different. But what we think this will do is it'll really attract assets to our platform. And with those assets, we can use those to do a lot of other things. From a credit product perspective, collateralized credit will give us, similar to a bank garnering cash balances, similar to us, to be able to use that to fund future credit balances. So we think it's going to really attract a lot of users. Think about this. You now have a US dollar coin earning 9% reward that you have a debit card attached to. With that debit card, you have routing numbers. So you can now do your direct deposit into that account. So we view it as an alternative to a checking account where you're now earning a 9% reward. So we're pretty excited about getting the debit card launch.
Yeah. We had a question here about the VLP 2.0 rollout. Anything that you can indicate to us about the expectation there?
Yeah, we continue to look to work on the VLP program and make it a huge benefit for all our users on our platform, continually evaluating it, and we'll have announcements in the future.
Okay, cool. Is there anything that you can tell us or expand on, maybe anything that we've read about your relationship with the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, obviously that's been a huge win for us. I'm not sure if you guys all saw, but on the initial night when we announced it, we sponsored a half-court shot for $100,000, and the guy hit it. We got over 1 billion impressions on that on ESPN and a host of other types of media, so it's a huge win for us. Mark Cuban himself did a joint press conference with Steve Ehrlich, our CEO. Huge publicity surrounding that. And as you can see, we added 215,000 funded accounts during the December quarter where that promotion was part of it. So huge opportunity for us. We are the international crypto partner of the Dallas Mavs, their first ever international partner. We have naming rights to their trading facility, which we'll announce at some point in the future, what we decide to name it. Continuing to educate their community. And huge win for us with that partnership.
Yeah. Well, Mike, look, we've got so many more questions. I don't know if we're going to have the time to address all of these today, but everything that you guys are doing is so exciting. I know a number of folks on this call, including myself, are incredibly bullish on the crypto sector overall. You guys have done such a great job building an aesthetically pleasing platform with great functionality and really great rewards. We're really excited to see what you guys are going to be able to do in the future and going forward. I think we should wrap here. I want to let you leave us with some closing remarks, but I just want to let everyone know that for any questions that didn't get answered, we can try and get those questions answered and sent them to you. We're going to make sure and get a copy of the deck circulated to everyone on the call. And of course, we hope to have Mike and Steve back at some time in the not too distant future to keep everyone updated with the progress of the company. Mike, I'll let you leave us with some closing remarks and what we should mostly take away and how we should feel about the company going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we all know that the macro space is a huge growth opportunity over the coming years, and Voyager is extremely well positioned to capitalize on that. We've developed a loyal community, a strong economic model with 50+% longer term cash flow margins in hand. We have put together probably the finest quality management team. And unlike some of our larger competitors who have done a great job building their scale, our growth prospects are so much larger given we have international growth, product growth, and we're just coming off a smaller base. So, we really are the fastest growing digital asset broker out there. Huge community presence, which creates that stickiness. The loyalty program and the token are a key differentiator, and our focus on retail. So I'll leave it at that.
Mike, you guys have done a great job. I'm excited to have found the company when I did. Everyone on this phone call should feel really, excited about learning the story at this time and being able to receive it from you. We look forward to see all the exciting things that you will continue to do, and we hope to have you back soon. For anyone, as I said, on this phone call, please reach out to us directly if you have any questions, if you want any follow-up information, and then keep tracking us closely for upcoming presentations that we will hold, because of course we are always getting access to the best companies and the best management teams. So Mike, really appreciate you taking the time, and I will look forward to talking with you again soon.
Great, thanks again. Appreciate everyone's time.
All right, thanks everyone. Talk to you soon.
All right, so hopefully you can hear me. Let me know in the chat just to make sure, but it should be fine. Just a few overall thoughts that I just wanted to give. I did take notes on this, and there were a couple of fascinating things that he did talk about, obviously. If you did join, it wasn't Steve Ehrlich. It was supposed to be Steve Ehrlich, but it turns out that he did have some form of like emergency meeting or conference that, or not conference, but some form of meeting that he had to go to, and obviously canceled literally right when I started the live stream. But anyways, without a doubt, a couple things. First and foremost about Canada, which, as you know, I'm very optimistic about. This is the first time that we actually got some form of a timeline when it comes to this. Steve Ehrlich has said that 2022 is probably going to be when they come to Canada. What Mike Legg here said, and by the way, he is the chief communications officer over at Voyager, is that they're actually optimistic about the first half of 2022. And the fact that big digital assets just got approved within Canada, and that they're essentially waiting imminent approval on that front. So that's pretty exciting. Within the next 5-6 months, we can expect some form of Canadian announcement. Obviously, Europe is a bit of a bigger market. He did say that they look forward to rolling out first within France, and then within Spain, Germany, and the Netherlands, potentially even more to come after that. But again, we're getting more and more clarity on this. Europe is just, on them at this point to get the proper infrastructure needed to, again, get set up over there. When it comes to crypto-backed loans, he actually talked about home loans, or potentially mentioned them, which is obviously a huge market. So I really do believe that the crypto-backed loan space is a little bit under the radar at this point, and I think it's something that could present Voyager with a massive opportunity over the next few years here as they continue to expand out their platform. I think he did throw out the figure of around 20 different market makers at this point, and exchanges that Voyager is connected to, which is significantly more than kind of the last number we got, which is over a dozen. So obviously connecting to more exchanges, more market makers gives Voyager more liquidity and more potential coins. Just want to clarify on Europe, it should be within the quarter, and that's something that we've known for the past few months now. Anyways, operating profit, he did say that we can expect high single-digit operating profit margins at this point, so that they're not burning cash, but they're significantly investing into their business. That's their thought at this point. All right, let's take the money the business generates and just invest it back into marketing, innovation, platform building, and just kind of employees, things like that. And then what's actually fascinating is that he mentioned 50% long-term cash flow margins at the end, which that would be crazy. If Voyager got to 50% longer-term cash flow margins, that is ridiculous. That's like taking half of your revenue and taking that down as cash flow. So again, that is something he said at the very end, and it's something that I'm a little bit hesitant about, but obviously that's just a positive in their eyes that, again, over the long run, as they exit out of a potential growth curve, whether it be a few years from now, at the end of the decade, we can expect significant profits to come from this company, and then potentially enter into share buybacks at some point down the road, which appears to be the direction they're taking with excess profits. But again, right now, really focused on marketing, innovation, building out the platform, making it the best possible platform out there. When it comes to the debit card, Mr. Legg, Mike Legg, he said that it's less for the profits and more for just building out consumer assets. The more assets that come onto the platform, the better it is for Voyager. As again, you have more opportunities to generate revenues, generate profits, and again, just kind of build out the company from that standpoint. So again, with the debit card launch being very imminent within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a big positive. And as they continue to announce new partnerships and new sides of their platform, like stocks, which should also be coming throughout 2022, we can expect customer assets to continue building out, which, as we know, it's a big catalyst for them. And it's something that we should be keeping an eye on. Hey, what's happening to AUM and assets under management? Two more things here. Voyager Loyalty Program 2.0. He was very reluctant to actually talk about this and said expect announcements in the future. So it does appear they are working on this pretty heavily, and I'll obviously cover it on the channel with you guys whenever we get some form of announcement. And lastly, when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, I actually didn't know this, that they have the rights to their training facility as well, or the naming rights to the training facility. I thought it was just the gaming facility that they had rights to. So again, additional advertisement, impressions. He did mention the $1 billion mark when it comes, or not $1 billion, but 1 billion impression mark when it comes to that half-court shot that gentleman hit. Whenever they announced the Dallas Mavericks deal a couple of months ago at this point. But again, a lot of reiteration. I would have loved Steve Ehrlich to be there. That's kind of the whole reason I live streamed this, because I thought Steve was going to be there. And again, it happens. Hopefully, whether it be me getting him on the channel or him coming on to potentially some other webinar, I'll let you guys know, summarize it, live stream it. We'll see. But again, obviously not bad, not great, but I'm happy. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.